Hey everybody, welcome to Bura. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about why January is the most important month for e-learning. All right, welcome back. So let's take a look at the stock before we go here. So now you can see things went down about 5% from peak to trough over the last 5 days. Again, we have, well, not too big of a drop here. And then still up from the bottom by about 7%. And then from top here, we're down about 40% from the top, 33 from open, and 37 from the IPO price. Okay, so as you can see, we've gone now down, well, we went up to around 1950, so we're still seeing strong resistance at 20. And if we go to here, this was 1709. So I would assume that 17 would be the support as of now, and we'd be range trading between about 17 and 20, as you can kind of see here. Maybe even 1950, 1960, something somewhere in there. But I'm going to say 20 is just a good ballpark estimate. But nevertheless, you can see here that, things have been selling off, and then it's kind of hard to time this, like if you're day trading this, but I wouldn't necessarily day trade this. But what I want to talk about today is the general trends, specifically with January. And well, since this is kind of the second video of the year, fun fact, I didn't actually know it was a holiday for some people yesterday. I just assumed it was a regular day at work. So I guess, I just come to work as much as I can. But this year, I'm trying to take more time off. And believe it or not, that's actually really hard for me to do. But let's talk a little bit about January. So January, everyone has their own New Year's resolutions. And one of those New Year's resolutions that's been coming up again and again and again is to learn to code. So just like you're going to the gym, learning to code is like the next year's New Year's resolution. And that's actually not a bad thing. In fact, that's actually a really good thing because, depending on where you are depending on, where you are in your life, if you learn to code, you will have a pretty good career around you because there's so much money being flowed in to tech here, and technology is going to continue, right? Even if a lot of the liquidity for these startups kind of just dries up, there will still be an absolute ton of needs for developers. It's just our society is way too technologically oriented, and technology is unreliable. I can tell you from personal experience, trying to build the simplest apps possible, but a wrench gets thrown in the system and it stops working, right? This is just what it is. And so you wonder why companies have a lot of developers is because they need things to work. And you know what? One thing that Udemy has done is they actually have a pretty stable system. One of the reasons why they have a stable system is, of course, because they don't really update it. So they don't really add in a lot of new features. Because whenever you add in a new feature, it could break a bunch of other things unless you are really good at planning. So in Udemy's credit, they do have a very stable system. Things seldom break, and if they do, it's just natural that things break anyway. But that's just the way it is. But anyway, so Udemy does sell a lot of technology courses, and every person and every e-learning company does. They absolutely do capitalize off of January, and it's usually the best month of the year for me, and it's been the best month of the year after year after year, better than Black Friday, although that's probably comes in second. So it's really good. But what happens is that in February, February is the worst month of the year, just because consumers are kind of spent. But and that's why you want to go into corporate and subscriptions, is because then that February kind of gets no matter what happens, if you're going to have anything consumer oriented, February's not going to be a good month. But if you have subscription, you kind of pave over the pain of lower sales, right? But anyway, so the thing is that, even though that the stock is down today, Udemy's probably going to post a really good month. And I wouldn't be surprised if the next quarterly results, whenever that may be, maybe in March or February, somewhere in there, they're probably going to show some pretty good profits just because January is so good. Basically from November 1st all the way to, let's say, January 31st is probably the best time of year for e-learning. Again and again, you got Black Friday, you got Cyber Monday, you got Christmas, then you got January, and then as soon as February hits, everyone's kind of done. But it's literally like, I remember one February where I literally made $400 on Udemy for the first 3 weeks of February. It was so painful. And then like the last week of February, it ended up being kind of a normal February, still down. But like, I just remember that it was either like $400 or $600. It was something ridiculous for 3 weeks, right? And, you know, and that happens, right? Just the first 3 weeks of February is just not very good. And, you know, that's the time you want to take a vacation or set things up for the next bit, for March. But as soon as March rolls around, people are like, oh, I got to spend money again. But yeah, so the first 3 weeks of February are good. If you are in e-learning, that's the best time to take a vacation, because literally nothing happens during that time here. People don't buy, people don't take courses. I don't know what they do, but it's just not a good time. So nevertheless, I expect the next quarterly results to be quite good, just because we're talking about January, right? Because January is really good. I expect things to be pretty good. The key thing that you want to look at, like I say, is you want to look at the marketplace revenue. If the marketplace revenue does not grow, then that is a big warning sign for the lifetime of the stock, right? And again, it's very easy. They should grow the marketplace to about $5 billion a year. That's what they should do. And they need to do that by lifting a lot of the restrictions. And they don't want to do that, but they should. And then it will reflect in the stock price, right? All right. So that pretty much wraps that up. If you have any questions about cycles in the e-learning industry, please let me know. I'm really interested to talk about it. And just in general, if you're listening, please comment. I'll try and answer the questions. But if you really want to, you can take a look at our Kickstarter here. And this is our best Kickstarter that we do all year. It's called Hello Coding. And it basically has pretty much everything you need to know with coding, right? We start with web development. Then we go to app development, machine learning, blockchain, game development, a lot with the Unreal Engine, by the way. It's really good. And then interview prep. So we have a lot of interview prep courses, so you need to prep for an interview here. And you get the previous Hello Codings as well. So it's really, really good. I highly recommend that you pledge for this Kickstarter. Please pledge for this Kickstarter. It is probably one of the best deals you'll get. It's a huge bundle of several levels of coding. And again, everything that we do with practical projects, right? The more practical the project, the better you'll be, right? So you're not just like learning coding, you're learning how to build something that you can use in your resume, right? So you can see that there's a lot of hours in this here, right? So that concludes this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.